everybody, I am Jennifer Rummel's Paleo, and of course this is the caveman of awesomeness, Bumi. Can you just wait for him because he has no bones? And this is Jacqui, and we've got Jacqui today from Grateful Harvest. Woo! Well, and we're grateful to have Jacqui, and it's quite coincidental that we've got a company that's called Grateful Harvest. But what exactly is a Grateful Harvest?
So we call ourselves Grateful Harvest for a number of reasons. The main one is because there are products now that are still available that have been around for a very long time, not as long as you, but a very long time.
Does Jacqui know how old you are? He wants to know if you know how old he is.
No, I don't know. How old are you?
1 million years old. No.
1 million years?
Not
That's
quite
a huge number.
Yeah, that's right, 40,000 years old. He's 40,000 years old. He's come through a magical portal to help teach people about how to get back to a more natural way of living.
Well, that's very exciting. Almost as exciting as what's going on in here, because
it is bright and colourful. Yeah, we can't wait to hear about it.
Well, the reason why it's bright and colourful is when we ferment something, what happens is we enhance it. We make it even better than it was before. So as much as vegetables are really good, when we actually ferment them, we start to break them down, and then we build them up into other more wonderful things that our body absolutely loves. And one of the things that make them so good is the beautiful colours you get with them as well, and the amazing tangy flavours. Have you tried any before?
No, I think we should get him to try some.
Oh, I think so. It's a lot of fun.
So you were talking about building stuff up in fermented foods. Is she building a boat in there? I don't know. But boats, I don't think a boat would fit in there unless it was a boat for worms or something. But what are we building up in the vegetables, the fermented vegetables?
So vegetables are made up of all sorts of things that our body actually needs. So our body uses them to make strong bodies, like good muscles for running around and playing. Bones, when you had bones, you would have been eating.
You lost them in the time warp, didn't you?
Never mind. Lucky you found Jen, though.
I'm your best friend, are you? Okay.
Lucky to have a best friend. We all need a best friend. And believe it or not, these guys are our best friend too, because living inside here are lots and lots of teeny tiny creatures that you can't see.
Called what? Like, what are they called?
Well, things like bacteria and yeast.
But I've always been told like that bacteria is worse for us than like big brown bears being stung by wasps. Everyone's like, bacteria,
well, that's
danger.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because we have bacteria that we call pathogens, which is a really big word. Pathogen. I know, big, right? Almost as big as 40,000 years.
And his tongue, almost as big as his heart tongue.
Yes. So a pathogen is a funny word because it means it's a bad bug. But a bad bug is just doing the job that it was only designed to do. So it's a bug doing something we don't like it to do.
But we've got other bacteria in our body that are good bacteria, don't we?
Yeah, we've got lots. In fact, big people have about 2.5 to 3 kilos of bacteria in our part of our digestive system that we call the colon, or the large intestine. That's just here, Bumi. That's just here. It comes up and across and back down again.
So these guys, the bacteria in here that we breed in the fermented foods, they're actually good for our whole digestive system, aren't they?
Absolutely.
What's a digestive system? Well, maybe we can get Jacqui to explain. Maybe we could show on you. Do you have a digestive system? No, you lost it in the time warp, but back 40,000 years ago you did. It's okay, but we'll pretend you've got one today.
Okay, well the digestive system is what helps us take food and turn it into our bodies. So our bodies are made up of...
So you're saying the food we eat actually turns into our body?
It does. Yeah, it's pretty
Kids,
amazing.
did you hear that? The food you eat turns into your body.
And it helps us think.
Yep.
Helps us sleep.
Yep.
Helps us run. So it
helps
gives
us play
energy.
footy, play frisbee, play with your friends, hide and seek, tiggy, all those fun things.
All directly related to the type of food that we actually eat. Yep.
So if kids weren't eating lots of vegetables and fermented foods, and they were maybe eating lots of like chips and chocolates and hot dogs and takeaways and all those sort of things, does that then get turned a bit into our body?
It all gets turned into your body. Your body has no choice. So some of it comes in and some of it goes out. So, you know, Bumi, Bummy, we like to call him sometimes.
Yeah, because it's spelt B-U-M-I.
I know, it's pretty funny. But very important, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've all got a bum, haven't we, Bumi?
We do.
Yeah. Woohoo! Now that's a hot one.
Oh, thanks.
And so,
not as hot as yours.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, even in the name, you've got to have it all, do you, Bumi?
That's it, that's it. So,
So coming back to the digestive
So we've got
tract.
the colon, we've got the bum, which has the anus,
Yeah,
which
so-
is where we put our waste out.
That's it. So let's start at the top. So at the very top, you've got this big, beautiful. Go on, show us your mouth. Yeah, that's it. Look how big and beautiful that is.
I know, right?
And when we eat, even when we look at food, an amazing thing happens. We produce saliva. And I bet the kids at home have done this, where they've filled up their mouth with lots of swishy, swishy saliva.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they, well, if they're naughty and mum's not looking, they spit it. But that's okay, because that's fun sometimes too. Isn't it? Have you been doing it? I think he has. I think he's done it too.
Yeah.
Now that's
when he
saliva.
had saliva, when he could produce saliva.
That's right, back in those days.
Back in those days.
In fact, when we look at food, our saliva glands actually start to produce saliva, and that's the start of digestion. And that saliva is full of special chemicals, for want of a better word, but good ones.
So it's not just spit.
No,
it's
no. It's full of
awesomeness.
Yeah,
That's going to help us when we eat.
Yep, so that it
Okay.
starts to actually break down the food, and then what happens, it goes through here, and there's a hole right at the bottom here, and that goes
It was
down.
there,
Yeah,
yep.
I know, poor Bumi missed out in the time, and that comes down into the stomach, and the stomach sort of looks like my hand there, and in the stomach we produce an acid. Now this acid actually helps us break our food down, and believe it or not, that spit actually also tells our tummy to produce more acid. And so if we don't chew our food properly, we actually have trouble producing enough acid in our stomach.
And is that why we might feel like our food's going to come back up
That's
sometimes?
right, yeah, sometimes.
So you need to chew.
Chew.
your food.
Do you know how many, Bumi, have a guess, how many times do you think you should chew your food?
68? 68?
That's a big number. I thought you might go for 40,000, seeing you like that number.
It's
It's
being
about,
conservative.
is it? Yeah, very good. Well, it's about 30.
30 times, so each mouthful we should
Yeah,
sit there and chew 30 times.
chew.
Wow, we might be sitting there all night.
We will, then all of a sudden a really amazing thing happens, because
Yep.
your brain has a chance to actually understand that it might be full as well, because we give our tummy enough time to register that there's food going in there as well. So there's all these wonderful things that happen.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So when we just chew and we swallow without
Real
doing
fast.
it properly,
Yep.
we might eat too much food.
And then we might get a tummy ache.
Oh yeah. And then you can't sleep properly. and
All of that,
those
yeah.
sorts of
Whereas when
things,
we
so-
chew our food, and it's quite hard to do if you haven't done it before, but
Yeah.
eventually you get used to
You get
it.
used to it.
It starts the process properly.
He was
Yeah.
just saying how wise and smart you are. He's actually feeling a little bit intimidated at how wise you are. Actually, you actually remind him of his wise tribal elder from 40,000 years ago.
Really?
So
Well,
yeah.
I'm very honoured, because I can tell you we've lost a lot of information, and the only way we're getting it back is by everybody sharing and talking. And the only reason why I can tell you any of this is because people have been kind enough to share it with me as well.
Oh,
And
that's
so hopefully we'll all take this information and start
Yeah,
making a difference.
and now we're sharing it with you guys.
Yeah, and
So
it can make a big
exciting.
difference. Yeah.
All right, so we're at the stomach.
I know, long way to go,
Oh,
yeah.
We've still got to get down to our bum bum.
That's right. That's the bit you like, isn't it, Bumi? Yeah, I know. So we come out of the stomach, and then we arrive in a part that's called the intestine, or the
Yeah.
small intestine. And it looks like a really long sausage. It goes on for ages.
Yeah.
And it's all round and 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 round inside your tummy. And then
wow.
it comes out, and it comes out into the colon, which, as I said before, comes up, across and down, and comes out at the anus or your bum.
And so so these fermented foods they're going to help to break down the food in our stomach?
So no, in the stomach we're basically squelching and mixing.
Oh, that's because the stomach's up here. Lots of people think their stomach's down here, don't
No,
they?
yeah.
It's actually up here,
That's
isn't it?
right, and it's a really strong muscle, and it's making mush.
Yeah.
It likes to make your food into mush.
Cool.
And mush is good, because when it gets all mushy like that, you started by chewing it really well, and you can show your friends, but probably not your mum and dad. They might not like to see it. But you chew it, and it gets really mushy, and then it's like a liquid, and that comes into your small intestine. And then if you've got a healthy intestine, you're able to absorb some of the nutrients. Now, nutrients is a big word too, but that's when I spoke before about things being broken down so that you can make your body. That's what's happening in your small intestine. You're able to absorb or take up, just like a plant does in soil. We were talking about this earlier.
We were.
Yeah.
That's right. She was saying that. You were saying how the soil and growing a plant is exactly like our stomach is like, or our intestines are like the soil,
Yep.
and we are like the plant that grows.
Absolutely.
Could you tell the kids a little
Sure.
bit more about that?
Yeah.
And we'll show you a picture of a tree here.
Yeah, or a flower growing in a
Flower,
pot would
yep.
be a really good analogy. So when a plant grows in soil, we have to make sure, that's lovely, Bumi, we have to make sure that the soil is really healthy. I want you to think of the nicest place you've been to. Maybe there'll be a field with lots of flowers.
So a place in nature.
So
think about a time you went with your family to a beautiful place in the countryside where there was, fields and
lots of
cows.
healthy plants and trees, and when you're walking the leaves are crunching.
Yeah, Bumi's thinking about when he lived 40,000 years ago out in his village,
Yep.
because it was all beautiful natural trees and fields and all those sorts of things.
Well, that's the sort of thing we're talking about.
Okay,
and
so
when you look at the soil, it's living. Now that sounds weird because we know the plants are living and you and I are living, but the soil is living too. So
wow.
what does that mean, do you think?
Wow. That means it's going to turn into a monster.
That would be pretty cool. Now that's interesting you say that, because when we talk about bacteria, like you said earlier, we think it's a bad thing. But no, this is a really good thing.
So the soil's alive and it's
got
really
bacteria in again. Yeah,
okay,
so bacteria and creatures like worms. Worms are really cool,
Worms are fun to play with, they are. So
They are fun to play with and they make holes in the soil. But then they have stuff coming out their bum too. And
worms have bums?
Well, they do. They're just like us. They're one long chew.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and when the castings, which is a fancy name for worm poo.
Remember that one?
Yeah, worm poo or castings. Well, that gets broken down by the bacteria. So the worms actually chew it up, and then the bacteria in the soil, that's it.
Yeah, he's being a worm.
The bacteria in the soil breaks it down again into these little parts.
Mm-hmm.
And these little parts can be absorbed or taken up through the roots of the tree. And then, or the plant, or whatever you're growing. And then, so the quality of the soil, what's going on in that soil, is more important for the plant than anything else.
So if we have healthy soil, then we grow a healthy plant.
So you think about a place where it's not so nice. So you might be in a car park. The airport's a really good place for this. And you're in the carport at the airport and the soil's all compacted. Nothing will grow there, will it? But you must have got a shock, Bumi, when you arrived here.
Yeah, the first time he saw a car and motorbikes and all those sort of things, it was really quite frightening. Actually, he's having a bad memory.
Oh, I'm sorry to have done that.
It's okay. He's used to it now, though.
Yeah.
He's used to it now.
But it's not. It is hard for our bodies, and it's hard for the soil.
Yeah.
And so those areas where we've got lots of stuff going on that's not contributing to the health of the soil actually makes the soil sick, if you like.
And then the plant would be sick.
Well, then you don't get the bacteria. You don't get the plants. And so then the plant becomes sick. But it's why is the plant sick? And it's because the soil isn't good.
So you're saying that we should eat a variety of real foods that are grown in maybe healthy soil, and some fermented foods, so that we can digest that into our intestines, which are like our soil.
That's right.
And then our bodies grow into healthy beings of awesomeness, like growing a healthy plant.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. She's even smarter than you thought. Oh, wow.
I think you're being very generous, but thank you.
Bumi never lies. Never lies. So what's this cool thing in here? That's awesome.
It is, isn't it?
No, Bumi, you don't
It is tasty. So fermented vegetables are actually quite sour. So if you're used to eating lollies, you might know sour lollies.
Yes.
So when you put them in your mouth, people sort of go, oh, because that's surprising. We're not expecting that. And fermented foods are like that too. They tend to be tangy or sour.
But they're good for you, not like sour lollies.
No, that's
They're
right.
very
With sour
good
lollies, they put something on there that tastes sour. Whereas in this, they're actually, that sourness is produced as it ferments. Yeah. So this here is kombucha. And it's made from fermenting tea.
Sounds like a dance we might do.
Well, it is actually. I think a kombucha dance would be the way to go.
All right, yeah, I think so too.
And then we have a look at these other products here. These are fermented vegetables. In this case, it's red cabbage, so you can get green cabbage and red cabbage. And in this case, it's carrots.
Cool.
And what happens is when we ferment, those bacteria, we talked about them being in the soil, well, they're actually in the plants as well. And when they ferment, you end up with an acid, and an acid tastes really sour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we might have to eat it a few times until we get used to the taste.
And little bits to start with. Like I could actually eat all that in one
I could
sitting.
too, actually. I love fermented foods.
But when
I love them too. Yeah, we have arguments about them. Not that he can swallow them into his digestive system, but he can taste them.
Yeah, well, and they're pretty yummy. Once you get used to them, they become, well, trying to eat a meal without them, it's like something's missing.
Yeah. And think about that, kids. Like, once you get used to this, it's going to make you stronger and healthier. So you can kick the footy further, you can ride your bike further, you can beat your mum and dad at jumping on the trampoline. You could jump like that high, and if mum and dad haven't eaten their fermented foods, they'll only jump this high.
That's right.
So,
yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah,
stuff.
it is
Fun
exciting stuff. Well, this is all so fascinating. Thanks for showing us
You're very welcome.
all this stuff today and sharing your knowledge on fermented foods with us. Would you give her a little kiss on the cheek? Oh, I think you might be able to. And Jacqui, if people wanted to buy your fermented foods or your kombucha, or I know you've got fermented herbs as well now, where could they find you and find out about your product?
Yep, thank you for that.
You're
we
welcome.
have a website, so if they go on a website, they'll be able to see more information about what fermentation is.
Yeah.
They can also see where our products are distributed throughout Australia.
And what's the website?
www.gratefulharvest.com.au.
Awesome. And he wants to give you a present. We actually bought you a special
That's
present today.
very
I'm just going to go
generous.
downstairs and get it.
Okay, no
All right,
problem.
I'll be back. Hey! Bumi has his own book that was written about him, and it's based on his days in the Paleolithic times, and we'd like to give you a copy to say thank you for having
Bumi,
us.
that's very generous. Thank you. Now, can I give you a kiss?
Yeah. Oh, happy days.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, you're
What a
so
beautiful
welcome.
book.
And if you want to find out more about Rumbles Paleo, go to rumbleспaleo.com. And thanks for listening, and have a supersonic, amazing day.
See you
Bye.
later.